Hello, hello. I'm Devon Gray, and welcome to A Moment to Heal. If you are new here, I help high achieving women shift from overwhelmed to on point. We target three major patterns: so overthinking, snapping, and carrying emotional weight that was never really theirs, so that they can actually enjoy the life that they're building. And if you feel like you're constantly questioning yourself, trying to get it right, or chasing some invisible like finish line or enoughness, then this live is for you. By the way, if this conversation hits home for you, I want you to get on the waiting list for Inner Revolution. This is where we start doing deep work on breaking these patterns for good. You'll get first access when the doors open. So go ahead and drop IR in the comments and I'll send you the link. Now, what are you tying your worth to? Let's talk about one of the biggest traps that many of us fall into, which is tying your self-worth to things that are outside of you, right? The opinions of people, the timeliness of yourself, the way that things are executed, right? Like that stuff is not always in our control. As a matter of fact, everything that we do depends on a lot of other things being true at the same time. And so some would argue that none of the things are in our control. And I stand on that. I stand in that ship. But when we do that, when we tie our self-worth to things that are outside of us, we are constantly in a state of worry, overthinking, emotional exhaustion, and just generally not enoughness, right? So here are some of the bigger ones. So tying our self-worth to the emotions, the reactions, and the accomplishments of your kids. And I know that one seems kind of like, especially when, because it's good. It feels real good when your child is on honor roll, right? But when they skip in school, right? Especially when you are someone who always got good grades and have been telling people since he was 3 years old that he was going to be the next president of the United States. Well, not the next one, but a future president of the United States, right? But if they succeed, you feel like great, you know, like you want to tell everybody about it, and even if you don't, like you just in general feel uplifted, right? And then if they struggle, then you feel like you failed them or you failed as a mom. And so you might hover, you might stress, you might try to control things that are completely out of your control, and you know that they're out of your control. You just want to control them so bad that you continue to grasp and cling. Another one, huge one, your family relying on you for advice, for money, for emotional support. This looks like you saying yes to things that you don't have the capacity for, followed by resentment for your family members, for requesting such things of you, additional pressure that you will put on yourself because you have had these things requested of you. But at the same time, you feel like you're failing if you don't show up, or you feel like um, just guilty, right, for not being able to be the rock or be the responsible person in your family. And it is really a never-ending cycle. Another big one, the money that you bring in each year and or the power that you wield in your job position. So your sense of security and confidence is tied to a number or a specific value or power quotient. When business slows down or things get unpredictable or someone challenges you in your sphere of power, if you aren't able to keep up with the demands of your job, in a way that's to your liking or to the standards of your job, your self-worth kind of follows that same trend. Um, and then finally, and this one was huge for me. And there are still elements in my personality and sometimes in some of my patterns that still do show up for me, but achieving a new degree, getting a certification, having some sort of title, right? What happens in the cycle is you chase accomplishments, hoping that the next one will make you feel like you've made it or like you got it right, right? Like you've done it, you check this off your list, but it never actually fills the gap, right? Um, Please do just drop a hand wave down in the comment section if you are number one still with me, and two, if this is hitting home for you, if not directly, then in the sphere of things. The second part of this, I want to get into like the real cost of this. So, um, drop a hand raising emoji in the comments if any of these sound like you. So, needing your partner's approval, right? So feeling like you're too much one day and not enough the next. Measuring your self-worth by how much you can get done in a day. So beating yourself up for resting, constantly feeling behind and never stopping. Right? um, Feeling like you're not successful unless your business is growing or unless you are working on your education. So you chase the next offer, the next client, sign up for the next program, or into the next level of education, never actually living in the success that you've built. Um, Also, drop that hand raising emoji if you worry that others might think, based on something that you do, that you are a bad mom, right? So you overextend yourself. You say yes to things that drain you, right? You are very much concerned with how your children look on the outside and what they might say to other people when they describe you. Um, and you sacrifice your peace in the process. A couple more. So, one of the final ones is beating yourself up because your emotions feel too big, right? Too big to handle right now. So, you stuff them down, you try to control yourself, but you end up snapping instead. And that's actually a big one with many of my clients. But the final one, again, hand raising emoji if you feel this, but thinking that you always need to say the right thing, right? And this, especially for the providers in the room, and this could be any sort of provider, but for sure for us healthcare providers, over analyzing conversations, replaying them in your head, and these can be with colleagues, these could be with clients, this could be with your friends who you're talking to about what it is that you do, or anyone that you are having a conversation with, where there's some sort of conflict or disagreement, but then feeling disconnected from people because you always in your own head, right? So my question for you is, can you see what's happening? Because when I have looked at my cycles, right, the things that I was doing, I could see very clearly that every time that I tied my worth to something that was outside of me, that I was also creating a loop where I was constantly trying to fix myself, right? So you tell yourself like, okay, next time she say this, I'm gonna say this, right? Next time I'm gonna try harder, right? Next time I'm gonna, make sure all of my work is done. Next time I'm not gonna mess this up. Next time I am going to institute an even more aggressive or intense punishment for my child so that when I catch him not going to school, right? So that he will go. Next time I'll finally be good enough. Here's the thing. It's never about you getting it right. The more that you chase it, the farther away it gets. And in the meantime, you're exhausted, you're disconnected, and you're feeling like no matter what you do, it's never enough. So why is this dangerous, right? And how can you break free of it? So when your worth is tied to things outside of you, your peace is never there. You never have access to it. You're never allowed to just be. You're always adjusting, overthinking, trying to be better for everyone else. And the worst part is that it keeps you emotionally disconnected from your work, from your purpose, from the people you love most. So the shift here is in learning to untangle your worth from these external things, right? So it's about stepping into a place where your peace, your confidence, and your ability to enjoy life are not up for debate, right? And so this is exactly what we do inside of Inner Revolution. And so if this is hitting home for you, I want to invite you to DM me or drop the letters I and R in the comments if you want to get on the Inner Revolution waitlist. Inner Revolution isn't about coping. It's about real, deep, lasting transformation, right? If you are tired of feeling like you're constantly about to snap, you're overthinking every little thing, you're carrying all this emotional weight that ain't even meant for you, it's time for you to do something different, right? This is the year of Inner Revolution. And if you are in, drop IR in the comments or DM me, and